Let's talk about toys. If you have little ones, you're probably concerned about the materials in the toys they play with, and rightly so. Little ones spend a lot of time playing with toys, and far too many toys that are on the shelves at the stores that we shop at are made with cheap and unhealthy materials. So let's talk about how to buy the safest, non-toxic toys for your children. So when it comes to buying toys, there are so many different options, and they can all be so appealing and even cute, right? But not all of them are necessarily going to be safe for your children, especially the youngest of little ones. So let's talk about, why do non-toxic toys matter? What are they? And how do you know that you're actually getting a safe, non-toxic toy? Okay, so first of all, why do non-toxic toys matter? First and foremost, like with any product that we recommend, when it comes to babies and toddlers and even young children, their bodies and their organs are still developing. And so when they get exposed to a chemical or to something that we might be exposed to, they are just more vulnerable. When it comes to toys specifically, they have them in their hands. They are putting them in their mouths. They explore the world through their senses. And that's why you often see them putting toys in their mouth. And that is also why the safety of these toys, the materials that go into these toys, is just absolutely crucial, especially when our little ones are on the younger side. When they're babies, forget about it. There should not be a toy that's not non-toxic in their hands. As they get older, it's going to get harder to control that. It's going to get harder to really police every little toy that they're holding, but it's also not as crucial as that super early stage when they're mouthing everything, putting everything, all over themselves. And that's not to say it's not important at all times to try and buy the safest materials possible. But when it comes to the baby stage and the early toddlerhood stage, where they're just super explorative, they're putting everything in their mouth, that is when I think it is the most crucial. And let's just be honest, that's also when it's easier for us to control what's in our child's environment, right? When they're little, when they are not, under the influence of other children as much, and really when they're with us more. So that's when it's super important. But it's always important, I think, to try and buy non-toxic toys and have non-toxic items in the home. And then the whole idea here is that mainstream toys, unfortunately, are made kind of inexpensively, or they're made using materials that are not very thoughtful, not necessarily, safe as safe as they can be for our children. So what's a non-toxic mom to do? We go out of our way to find safer, healthier toy brands for our children. And I'm going to be sharing with you my top toy brands for babies and young kids. But I think you can see that non-toxic toys really do matter. I think it's really important, especially in those early days. And the reason that I even mention this is because when I was a new mom, and I was kind of tired and struggling and stressed out and just learning everything as I went, I kind of wanted to get non-toxic toys, but I also thought, oh gosh, well, if everyone uses toys from Target, or just, any toy that's available, like the regular toys that you see at the store, they must not be that bad. But I later came to regret that mindset once I saw how much my boys put the toys in their mouths and were just constantly playing with these things. So I do think it's really important to prioritize non-toxic toys for our children. So what are non-toxic toys exactly? Okay, we're going to talk about the safer materials that you should be looking for. But first, let's start by talking about what we want to avoid. This first thing I'm going to mention is not necessarily a chemical safety kind of topic. It's just something I wanted to throw out there while we're talking about toys. Light up toys are all the rage for babies, even starting at like 6 months old or even younger, to be honest with you. Light up toys can be highly stimulating and overstimulating, in fact. And I don't recommend light up toys at all for under the age of 2. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't do it. That doesn't mean that you completely should avoid them and you should go out and toss all the light up toys that you have. Maybe you can take the batteries out. Will your baby ever really know? I don't know. But you can either take the batteries out or use them sparingly, just because they can simply be so overstimulating. And then if you're wondering why your baby has a hard time going to sleep after they play with their toys and all the toys are lighting up and making a bunch of noise, well, that might be part of your answer. Okay, so I am not a fan of light up toys for young babies and toddlers. Okay, that set aside, let's talk about some of the chemicals that you want to avoid in toys that you're buying for your baby or your young child. Generally speaking, plastic is best to be avoided because when it comes to toys, again, they're holding them, they're playing with them, they're holding them for long periods of time, they're putting them in their mouths, but also because a lot of toys are made with cheaper plastics, things like PVC, polyvinyl chloride. That plastic is known as the most toxic plastic for a reason. It contains phthalates, it contains lead, and it's such a big offender in the childhood toys category because it's often used in soft plastic toys. Whenever the toys are soft, then some kind of a softener or plasticizer has been used, and it can often be PVC or something similar. So generally speaking, I recommend avoiding plastic toys unless you know for sure that they come from a reputable company and they are using safer plastics. And I will be making a couple plastic toy brand recommendations later on. So keep listening because there are a couple toy brands that I do recommend that make plastic toys. Otherwise, you want to avoid kind of the usual offenders. When it comes to toys, those are things like phthalates. These are endocrine disruptors, hormonal disruptors that are found in plastic toys, often in things like PVC, but also found in other plastics. They're also found in fragranced items. So if you are buying your baby a doll that has a vanilla scent, well, it's very possible that the fragrance is synthetic and it contains things like phthalates, which we want to avoid. Heavy metals, okay, these are not something that you're necessarily going to know about, but they are often found in paints and plastics. These are contaminants. These are things that we want to be avoiding. So it's really important to buy from trusted brands, especially brands that will tell you what kind of paint they're using, where their products come from, what ingredients are, in their products. And that's one of the best ways to avoid heavy metals. They can impair brain development. They are just really, truly best to be avoided, especially at this young stage, again, where babies are putting everything in their mouth or, little ones are still developing their organs and their systems. So, we want to be cautious to avoid heavy metals. Another thing is BPA. Now, BPA is one of those greenwashing chemicals because what companies will do is they will say, look at my doll, it is BPA free, or look at my water bottle, it's BPA free. But actually, they got rid of the BPA, but they just replaced it with its cousin, BPS, or a different form of the same kind of chemical group. These chemicals are just associated with so many different health issues, and we really just truly want to avoid them. And that really goes also back to avoiding plastic toys as much as possible in the early stages. And then two other things that you want to avoid are flame retardant chemicals. These are often found in plush toys, believe it or not, and they really truly serve no purpose. It's just shocking to me that flame retardant chemicals are still in use in children's products. And I think the consumer, the public thinks that they're safe. They make things safer, but does a stuffed animal really need flame retardant chemicals? I can't really find the justification. I'm sure there's some kind of, child protection safety justification out there. But to me as a mom, I would rather just avoid the flame retardant chemicals on my stuffed animals and use natural fabrics, natural materials that are naturally flame resistant to where I don't have to worry about their toxicity. And then finally, synthetic dyes, inks, and colorants. So anything that is colorful gets its color from somewhere. We want to know, where did that color come from? Is it safe? Is it toxic? Is it non-toxic? Is it water-based? Is it going to, be rubbing off on my child's hands? If they put the toy in their mouth, are they going to be consuming that? These are just things to look out for. And it's not a perfect process. you're not necessarily going to be able to contact a brand and say, tell me all of these things. They might not answer you. But what I like to do is I like to do two things. One is I like to choose safer materials whenever possible. And I like to choose brands that I know, like, and trust, and then repeatedly shop from those brands. Why reinvent the wheel every single time I need to buy a new toy, right? So we're going to get into that right now. Let's start with safer toy materials. So as I said before, avoid plastic whenever possible. There are lots of plastic toys that are absolutely adorable, but there are safer options. And if possible, avoid them as long as you can, because there probably will come a day when your children are older and they start asking you for things like superhero toys that they're playing with at school, or that their best buddy down the street has, or, a Barbie or something like that. So just avoid plastic whenever possible and for as long as possible. And then know that when it does come into play, you can at least keep it in rotation, but not necessarily let your child's relationship with plastic toys be super out of control from the get-go. Okay, so the safer materials that I like are wood. Wood is just wonderful for toys. There are a ton of safe, reputable wooden toy brands that you can rely on. Wood is sustainable, it's durable, and it can be very safe when it's finished with natural oils or beeswax, things like that. Super, super, super go-to, just a great, reliable option for non-toxic toys. Okay, if you're buying things like stuffed animals, plush toys, organic cotton is the way to go. This is perfect for like stuffed animals, hanging toys, car seat toys, things like that. And you also want this to be free from pesticides. That's why you want to go with organic. If you can't get something that's organic, regular cotton is better than, a plastic alternative or something else. So just do what you can for the category that you're shopping in, and just know that making better choices along the way, even if it's not the perfect choice, is a step in the right direction. Okay, I also really like natural rubber toys. There are a few brands that make natural rubber toys. They're also great for the bathtub. As long as you're not dealing with like a latex allergy, they can be great for teething. They can just be great for, bath time play or regular play. I also do like silicone toys. Silicone is a polymer. It's in the plastic family, but it is a little bit more stable than most other types of plastic. So while I don't recommend it with enthusiasm, I do like silicone toys just because they are a safer alternative to plastic. So they are a better choice, although they're not the best choice. I'm going to share with you the safer toy brands that I love. And I just have to start off by saying that not every toy from each of these brands is necessarily safe. Some of them only make safe toys, and others make a myriad of different types of toys, and I can't fully endorse every single toy that they make. But if you start with these brands, chances are you are starting from a good spot. You are looking at a brand that makes things responsibly, knows what they're doing, makes an effort to choose safer materials, and you can probably know that you're making a good choice when you shop from these brands, even if I can't totally recommend everything from every company that's on this list. Okay, so the first category is going to be wooden toys. So there are a few different wooden toy brands that I love. And the great news is that there are just so many options nowadays, to be honest with you, for wooden toys, that it is more mainstream, it's more available. You just have so many options available to you. So yay for wooden toy makers. Okay, so first on the list is Plan Toys. Now, I used a ton of their toys when my boys were little. I had this Plan Toys drum. Oh my gosh, my heart gets warm just thinking about it. Anyway, we had tons and tons of toys from Plan Toys. They're really well-made wooden toys. Highly love that brand. Haba is another wooden toy brand that I recommend. We had a lot of their little infant toys. They make really responsible wooden toys as well. Another favorite is Grimm's. Now, have you seen those wooden rainbows that stack, those rainbow stacking toys? They have been knocked off so many times, but the original, the OG, is Grimm's. It's, I think, a German brand, and they make really high quality wooden toys of all different kinds of varieties, not just the rainbow stacking toys. Their toys are amazing, really good quality. Love that brand. Another couple wooden toy brands to shop from are Camden Rose, Elves and Angels. They make a lot of the toy kitchens. They are legit. They use solid wood. They are absolutely legit. Uncle Goose makes the most amazing toy blocks, and they are non-toxic, quality. They also make great gifts, by the way. Maple Landmark. Maple Landmark makes a variety of toys. I know them most for their wooden teething toys. They're super cool. Ostheimer makes figurines. So these little wooden figurines, they can be a little bit pricey. But if you are taking a really minimalist approach to your child's toy collection, Ostheimer is a great thing to invest in. They are right up your alley. Banner Toys also makes great wooden toys, a variety of wooden toys. I'm pretty sure they make teething toys as well. And then Melissa and Doug. So Melissa and Doug is probably the least, I don't want to say least reputable, but probably the least go-to brand on this list for me personally, just because they have, number one, so many toys that they make. But number two, they have had a recall in the past for lead paint. Now they've since addressed those problems. That's really not the concern for me. The biggest concern for me is that they don't use solid wood as much as the other brands do. They use a lot of MDF. They use a lot of, just kind of less expensive materials. So with that, I would just say it's not a perfect recommendation, but I do like and trust their wooden toys. And when I couldn't find what I wanted at some of the other companies, I would definitely shop from Melissa and Doug. They just wouldn't be at the top of my list. Okay, now let's talk about plush toys. So a few years ago, it was really hard to find organic stuffies, plush toys, and things like that. But now you have so many options available to you. It is just like, a gift from the non-toxic gods. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Okay, so here are a few that you might want to shop. So Singer is, they make plush stuffed animals. Under the Nile makes a number of different products, including these super cute and kind of quirky like plush stuffies. They have like a fox, or they have like a bunny and things like that, but they're a little quirky looking, but they're very, very cute, and they are so perfect for babies. One of the brands that I personally love and have used over the years is Bears for Humanity. I think they still use a polyester fill. So the outside is made from organic materials, but the inside is made from polyester. I was totally okay with that. I encourage you to always choose what works for you, what you're comfortable with. But I was totally good with it. I like that brand a lot. Apple Park makes certified organic stuffed animals, lots of different kinds of toys, super cute. If you are really into aesthetic, Apple Park is a great brand for you. And then there's also Finn and Emma. They make a number of different toys as well. They have play gyms, they have a macrame swing, but they also have these really cute plush animals and stroller toys, car seat toys, just fantastic products. I love Finn and Emma. So definitely check them out. So the final category is plastic, silicone, and rubber toys. Now, when I had my first, if you would have asked me if I would have ever played with silicone toys or bought silicone toys for my children, I would have been like, what? That is absolutely insane. Isn't that just what a pacifier is made from? But honestly, silicone toys have come a long way, and they're not just for pacifiers and teething toys anymore. So you can find silicone toys. I'm not too partial to any one brand, to be honest with you. I kind of look at silicone as an okay material, and I kind of see it all in one category, even though there are different kinds of silicone. There's food grade silicone, there's medical grade silicone. I prefer medical grade silicone whenever possible, but it's hard to find that in toys. But I would just say, before I list off any other brands, there are some pretty cool silicone toys out there, and I would just literally search on Amazon, or one of my favorites is from Fat Brain Toys. They make a ton of different toys, but they have these things called pipsqueaks, I want to say. They're just like these little things that connect. They're kind of like building toys, and they were great for the shower. So I would definitely look into something like that, but definitely stay open to the idea of silicone toys. I think that they will also be growing in popularity. And like I said, I don't really differentiate brands too much because I don't think there's anyone that really stands out in the silicone toy space. But as far as other options go, in terms of plastic, I told you there were going to be 2 brands that I recommend. And there are. These are the only 2 plastic toy brands that I really trust, pretty much exclusively. I trust anything that they make, and that's Green Toys. They make their products out of recycled milk jugs, and they are fantastic quality, really great quality. They have a ton of different toys to choose from. They have everything from plastic teacup sets to plastic airplanes, plastic farmhouses, really just a ton of options, and the quality is amazing. And then the other one, I'm so happy to say, is Lego brand. Legos are made from something called ABS plastic. Doesn't have a number. It's not one of the numbered plastics. I think it would definitely technically fall under the 7 category. But ABS plastic is supposed to be a very stable plastic. And for that reason, I have totally opened my life and my home up to Legos. We have tons and tons of Legos in our house, and my boys just love making Legos. So I feel totally good about it. I do not stress about them at all. And the nice thing about Lego is that they have the Duplo line of Legos for early Lego builders. I'm talking about, I don't know, maybe 12 to 18 months of age. It might be 18 months. Your child can start building Legos with the larger Lego sets. Once they graduate from there, my son started building with regular Legos around the age of 5 or 4. Then you can switch to the regular sized Legos. And Legos this day and age are so cool. They're not like when I grew up where you would just buy Legos and then you would have to use your imagination and build, these oddly shaped buildings and things like that. No, you have the full on sets. I'm talking about like character sets, Disney, Star Wars, Harry Potter, all of your kids' favorite characters, or some of them at least, have a Lego set. So it's really, really fun. My boys totally get into it. And to be honest with you, once they start a Lego set, it is focused play from both of them for several hours on end. I think Legos are one of my favorite investments personally. Okay, and then the other category in this little last section is rubber toys. So rubber toys are made from natural latex. If your child has latex allergy or suspected latex allergy, avoid these toys altogether. But if not, there are 2 good brands that I recommend, and probably several others as well. But the 2 that I'm familiar with and can really just honestly trust are Hevea Planet. They make that rubber ducky, that all-natural rubber ducky, the real rubber ducky, the one that's not made from PVC. It's a little expensive, but it's super cute and worth the money, I swear. My boys loved that as well when they were, playing with ducks in the bath. And then there's another brand that I found on Amazon called Ca Ocho. I hope I'm not butchering that. I took Spanish class in school, but the spelling of it just makes me a little nervous to say it out loud. So I hope I'm not butchering that, but it's Ca Ocho, CAAOCHO. They make rubber toys as well. They have all different kinds of shapes. They have balls, they have things like that. So those are 2 good brands that I also recommend for rubber toys. Now, that rounds out my list of the best non-toxic toy brands for babies and children, young children. I think it's so wonderful that you are here with me learning about the importance of non-toxic toys, thinking about this while your kids are little, because this is when we can make that change. This is when we can really, really impact their future development just by helping them avoid some of the lure of like mainstream toys. I wish that this was more mainstream. I wish that safer materials were more mainstream. I think every year they're getting there. I know when I walk the aisles at Target, I'm starting to see more non-toxic brands. Yes, they have a ton of Legos. Yes, they have some green toys, but they're talking about like the wooden toys and things like that, the organic plushies. For the most part, they still have to be bought online. I will put links to these in the show notes so that you can browse some of these brands and you don't have to go on a Google, deep dive trying to find them. I also have gift guides for you. If you're listening to this during the holidays, you're probably still in holiday shopping mode. And I just wanted to tell you that I have tons and tons of gift guides on the website. You just want to go to gentlenursery.com/gifts. But I just want to say one more time, you have a tremendous power in making these healthy choices for your children. And even if you don't buy a ton of toys, by making intentional choices like this, I think you're just doing great things for your little ones. And whenever possible, remember to vote with your wallet. If you don't like seeing plastic toys at the big box stores, don't buy them. Vote with your wallet, spend your money elsewhere. Brands will start noticing, companies will start noticing. One day you will see all of these non-toxic toys on the shelves at stores like Target. They might not line them, but they will be there because of the power of moms like us who want these brands, who have these discussions, who go the extra mile to search for these products and who are willing to pay a little bit extra to get quality for our babies. So just make those small, gradual changes toward a non-toxic toy collection. It's up to you if you want to dump out what you have already or if you just want to kind of get rid of them gradually. It really depends on how old your children are, how connected they are to those toys. Were they gifts? Were they just things that you bought? You just want to kind of see how you feel about it. I am not pressuring you to go out and dump all of your child's toys and replace them with non-toxic toys. That is not the goal here. The goal here with children's toys actually, I think, is simplicity, fewer options, and better quality options. I always know that when I declutter my kids' toy collection, they start gravitating toward the higher quality toys. It's almost a given every single time. And the times that I see them reading really good books is when I've gotten rid of the junky ones. For example, all the comic books and all of the, little boy books that really are just kind of, I don't know, about fart jokes and things like that. I'm so embarrassed to say that. But that is, once I get rid of those, once I clear those out of the house, that's when they start reading the books that I want them to read, the chapter books, the quality books. And it goes the same with toys. It's not about having a million toys. It's really about having quality toys. And that's why things like the Montessori belief system works really well, because they don't overwhelm children with toys. They actually put them out. They're not cluttered. And then the children are really engaged with what's in front of them. So don't go out and buy a bunch of things. Buy what means something to you and, go from there. So your homework today is just to start thinking about making smart swaps in the toy department. And if you are shopping for holiday gifts, use the resources that I have. I'll put them in the show notes for you. Check out these brands. See what you like. Some of them are a little more, I want to say extreme. If you're going on a continuum from like mainstream to extreme, some of them are a little more extreme. You might have to warm up to the idea of playing with like a wooden horse or something like that when all you've been used to are seeing like these plastic toys and plastic horses at Target. But warm yourself up to it. Check out these brands, see what they offer and see what you like, and then just kind of go from there. Okay, Mama, that is it for me for today. I will see you in the next one. Until then, be well and stay hydrated.